All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Tate, for the kind words of introduction. I'm not sure whether I'd like to classify myself as a deviant or not, but I'd like to certainly like to position myself as deviating away from the norm for sharing Roshika Deo's exceptional political journey in the 2014 elections. Anyways, to put the context right, Fiji Parliament, as in other legislatures across the Pacific, highlighted by fellow panelists, is marked by glaring absence of female faces. Women in Fiji have the right to vote and run for political office, but sexism and misogyny still deter many. However, there has been significant progress in the march towards women's rights and gender equality in the last few decades, with women and girls staying longer in schools and getting employed. Women have also come a long way in carving their mark in Fiji politics. Since independence in 1970, we've had 10 elections, and the number of seats held by women ranged from 0 in 1987 to 8 in 1999, 2006, and 2014 elections. In fact, in one of the best results in Fiji's history, 8 of the 50 MPs got elected in 2014 elections. This was up from 11% in 2006 elections. The Fijiana 8 includes 4 women MPs from the ruling party, 3 in opposition, and the first female Speaker of the House. Jiko Luveni from the Fiji First Party vacated her parliamentary seat to become Fiji's first female Speaker of the House. So 2014 elections also saw many women in leadership positions for the mainstream political parties in Fiji, such as Fiji's First National Federation Party, Fiji Labour Party, People's Democratic Party, and the main opposition party, which is SADALPA. There were some 44 aspiring women candidates, 43 from 6 political parties, with one outlier who stood on her own. Roshika Deo, a high-profile independent candidate and democracy activist, was one of the first women to declare her interest to stand for 2014 elections. Deo polled at about 1,055 votes, falling short of the votes needed to be elected in Parliament. But she proved to be more popular than seasoned politicians who scored fewer than 1,000 votes. I argue in my recent DLP conference blog that her exceptional performance makes her the kind of outlier that the concept of positive deviance challenges us to recognize. Roshika's unconventional campaign strategy kind of offers many new insights into existing discourses on women's underrepresentation in Pacific parliaments. So what makes Roshika Deo different? Firstly, as a gutsy feminist, young feminist, she decided early on to campaign as an independent, rejecting many offers to join the camps of mainstream political parties, potentially losing voter support from traditional cleavages of ethnic and clan networks. Secondly, Deo was very passionate about creating a platform to encourage women and young people to embrace, celebrate, and promote democratic change. And it wasn't long that her boldness even scared some women's organizations, which openly refused to support Roshika, and so hence an early end to her career in the NGO sector. Against this backdrop, Roshika created Be the Change campaign on social media, standing firm on issues of LGBTIQ, women's rights, mental health, sexual and reproductive women's human rights, amongst other things. Roshika stood on her own because none of the established political parties had a firm or clear stand on this issue. Over the last decade, her rebellion against misogyny, challenging traditional gender norms, saw Roshika leading a number of controversial protests and marches. This deviant image helped her connect and bond with many young women and men in Fiji. Unlike her opponents, Roshika Deo's campaign attracted immense hostility on social media, often accused of manipulating the gender card and playing, or rather presenting women as victims. misogyny, harassment, and cyberbullying were her daily bread during the campaign period. Little surprising then, Roshika garnered huge popularity through the Be the Change campaign. And the social media page attracted about 14,391 likes. So the Be the Change campaign certainly has a life and legacy beyond elections, which continues to be an active forum on issues around human rights violations and rights of marginalized groups in Fiji society today. While Roshika Deo's public profile remains high with due acknowledgement from her opponents, in an interview for a political party research last year, Speaker of the House, Jikolowani said, and I quote, "Roshika Deo went on her own despite all odds. She stands as an excellent role model, as a woman of substance who can debate and talk. Fiji needs young women like Roshika Deo who are passionate about politics," unquote. And here I present Roshika Deo, a feminist and a positive deviant.
My name is Roshika Deo and I'm from Fiji Islands, which is in the South Pacific region. I'm here for the International Women of Courage Exchange Program. During the 2 weeks that we're here for, we get to network and meet a lot of people within the US government and within the private sector and NGOs. So there will be an exchange of information. And we've also been able to get exposed to a side of American culture that we don't usually see, especially for me since this is my first time to the US. Fiji is a small Pacific island country, and we have been in a military dictatorship for the last 8 years. So we've come up with this campaign called Be the Change, which is like a political movement encouraging young people, to relate to politics, to redefine politics. One of the things that I found really inspiring myself when I've been going to all these places and speaking, I've had so many American girls come up to me or in open forums say that, you inspire me. And when I see you do this, I know I can do it too. And I really find that very inspiring for myself and very humbling. And the part of the award ceremony during the day was meeting Michelle Obama and having the award, presented by her.
For her advocacy for political reform in the name of democracy and human rights, and a country free of violence against women, we name Roshika Deo a woman of courage.
My name is Roshika Deo and I'm from Fiji Islands in the Pacific region, and I'm a woman of courage.
Okay, thank you.